What's up guys, Tim here from Audio Tutor. Let's fix that lead vocal today. Let's add some thickness, some width. Let's have it pop out in the mix like we really want it to. Let's go, we're jamming. What's up guys, Tim here from Audio Tutor. So, as I said, today we're going to add thickness and width to your lead vocal. This is kind of a technique for people who have tried the other YouTube video techniques and just felt like they're not quite there yet. So you may have seen other YouTube videos where they say, make your lead vocal pop or whatever, and then they just tell you to do some light compression and EQ, as if that fixes everything. And sure, that's a great technique and it's something you're going to have to learn to master. However, that's not the end of the story. There is always more that can, well, there's always more that can be done, but there is generally especially in like pop records and anything with a big array of different tracks, there's going to be more that you have to do than just a bit of light EQ and compression, all right? Just putting it out there, guys. There is more than that. So this technique is going to help you out. It's going to help to thicken things up. It's going to add some width in there as well. We'll be talking about that later. Also, it's going to bring things more up front, make things a bit more, I want to say aggressive, but that's not really the right word. It's more that the lead vocal is the lead vocal. It's called that for a reason. It's because you want to hear it over everything else. It's what catches the listener's attention. It's what the listener, the average consumer listener, hears a pop record and they're really hearing the vocal over everything else. The average person isn't really noticing the special way that you mic'd up the hi-hats on a record. They're just thinking about, hey, this is a great singer. All right, Ed Sheeran sounds great on this song. They're not really thinking about the way that production has been put together. I'm sorry, guys. I wish it was the case that every consumer can hear all those wonderful techniques you're doing. But at the end of the day, it would be kick, snare, and vocal is kind of what everyone's hearing, and then they just kind of hear the key the song's in. That's just the way it is. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's listen to the song we're working on today. This is a song of mine called S&G. You should check it out because it's a really cool little funky track. I was kind of going for that Bruno Mars thing that he's done, like with Mark Ronson, that kind of funky, taking it back to the 70s and 80s thing, funky disco thing. So I had a little play around with that. Check it out. It's on Spotify. Just type my name in and enjoy it. So have a listen to the track, S&G.
Yeah, give me love, diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, liberty in the world right now. Talking to oysters, get your palm trees out. It's raining down in London, we're stealing money from LA. Hold on to the fortune, hold on to that freedom, that feeling. Keeping close eyes on the light since the nights turned their way back to day. It's raining down in London, we're stealing money from LA. Go blame it on the boogie. All that fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold. You can blame it on the boogie. That fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold.
All right, so we're not going to go into the chorus because the chorus is like a whole new thing, but we're going to look at what is a bit simpler here in this mix, just so I can, show you an example a bit easier. We've got some awesome things going on with the vocal. We've got a load of backing vocals here, and this is like a little sidestep I wanted to take, is just to tell you, if you ever feel like you're spending too much time on your backing vocals, you are not, my friend. You should be spending lots of time on backing vocals because they are what can make and break a record. They're very important. I think people really overlook backing vocals. Listen to any like Michael Jackson track, and you'll see what I mean. And all those Michael Jackson tracks, it's like the backing vocals that kind of make the track. Obviously, like, MJ's doing his thing and he's amazing over the top of the backing vocals, but it's almost like you could jam out to just the track with the backing vocals on it. Those mixes, mainly by Quincy Jones, are just, incredible. So don't ever dismiss your backing vocals. You can see there's quite a lot going on here, little things where we're coming in with different harmonies. There was a little fun thing right here where I go, get your palm trees out.
Talking to oysters, get your palm trees out.
All right, so like little things like that just keep the listener interested. So backing vocals are very important. You can also see I've got a vocoder here. Sort of just throwing some vocoder stuff. We'll do a whole other video on vocoders. But I've got, I think, a total of 4 vocoders in this session. And they really fit because I was doing like a 70s, 80s funk thing where, you know, those are the days of the vocoder. So, you know, I had to kind of include that anyway. But it helped to add thickness to what we're doing. So I'm digressing onto backing vocals. We're not talking about backing vocals today. It's all about the lead vocal. And what you might have noticed listening to that is it's fine, but it's not... I don't feel like I need to hear what that guy's saying. You know, it sounds fine and a bit passive. It doesn't feel aggressive enough to me. And aggressive, again, is kind of the wrong word there, but you know what I mean? It needs to be upfront and in your face. In your face with YA. In INYA face, right? In your face. Needs to be, you know, real upfront in the mix. And I feel like it's just fine at the moment. And there's some processing on this, right? There's quite a lot of processing on this main vocal. So I can bring it up here. There's a load of sends and stuff happening with automation on them. But anyway, look, de-esser. Then I've got a basically stock EQ doing some small adjustments. And then I'm using that tube EQ to add some saturation. Then I'm stacking 2 compressors. Then I've got a multipressor or multi-band compressor, you might call it. I think that's helping to just balance out some of the top end, making it so it's not too harsh. And then I've got another compressor right on the end. I think that's probably just kind of squashing it a bit to give some aggression. However, it's still, just listen again and you might sort of know what I'm talking about. It just sounds fine and nothing special.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, liberty in the world right now. Talking to oysters, get your pop.
There's some sort of like polish missing, right, that you are used to hearing in this style of music. So here's what we do, right? The first technique, what we do is something called a double, all right? If you haven't heard of a double before, I'm quite surprised because a lot of people have, but that's fine. So a double essentially is not as simple as just copying and pasting your main vocal take. It is not that, because if you do that, you'll just end up with the same track twice as loud, right? Because you're just doubling it up in your session. All right, that's not what you want to do. A double is another take, is a separate take of the same thing, and it creates this doubling effect, or like a chorus effect, you might call it, because of all the slight differences between your different takes. All right, so like you'll notice, you sing the song through twice. On the second time you sing it through, there might be little things, little tiny differences in pitch where you're slightly flat on one note. I don't mean flat like out of tune flat. I mean just like a slight tiny adjustment in your pitch and tiny little differences in your timing. And it's all those differences that make it the double, right? And not just louder. So that's what gives it the chorus effect. So what we do, the simplest way to do this, guys, is just to record your lead vocal, and then record a double. So just record it twice. But for me here, I'm a perfectionist, so I did like 1,000 freaking takes of this song because I wanted to get it perfect. And then I've done comps, right? And a comp being you do loads of different takes and then you choose all your favorite bits of each take, right? So you can see here, this is me going, yeah, give me love. I liked how I went, yeah, give me love. And then diamonds, white gold, a fortune. Here, you can see it's a different color. It's in green. That's a different take, right? And then it carries on in that take, and then it goes back to the other take for this bit over here, right? So we're changing it up all the time. You can see there's all different colors. That's all different takes. So then what I do, this is like just it's a more complicated way of doing it for a perfectionist like me. So for your double, this is your double here, special sauce it's called. All right, that you can see is a different color. It's a slightly different shade of blue there. All right, so this is a different take, right? That's a different take as well. It's all different takes to what is in the main vocal, and that's what gives it a doubling effect. So I'm going to play that for you in solo. I'm going to solo them both out to give you an example.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, liberty in the world right now. Talking to oysters, get your palm trees out. It's raining down in London. We're stealing money from LA.
You see how it just gets a bit more soupy, right? And there's an effect going on that we'll talk about later. But it's got that little bit more thickness in there that's really going to help us in the mix. So if we go further on down to like the pre-chorus, which I believe is maybe here.
Go blame it on the boogie. All that fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold. You can blame it on...
Right. But let's jump in again, and I'm going to take out the special sauce or the double.
Gold. You can blame it on the boogie.
Let's throw it back in.
That fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold.
Right, so it's just more soupy and thick, and it just feels more in your face, right? Let's play it with the mix so you actually can hear it all together. We'll go back to the start of verse 1.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, liberty in the world right now. Talking to oysters, get your palm trees out. It's raining down in London. We're stealing money from LA.
I can't help but like bounce around in my chair right now to this song. I love this song. This is like the most fun I've had writing a song. Let me take it out. I'm going to mute that double, and you can listen to it again.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom.
I feel like you notice it there, where I go, the material things, that's where you notice it, right? Because obviously you've got harmonies joining me in here, but when you get to the material things, that's where there's no backing vocals to back me up, and it's like, oh, who's this guy who's like whispering at the back of the room? Right? So let me throw the special sauce back in.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, living.
Right? It's more soupy. It's just thicker. It feels more like in your face, and it's nice. But we still have an issue, right? This is so... I did that, and then I thought, yeah, but it's still missing something. It's still lacking width, and especially in this mix it's lacking width because of some of the samples I've used in this. A lot of them are like mono, so it's a mix that's quite up the middle, and so I had to work quite hard on saying, all right, we're going to do real LCR panning, left, center, right panning, to make sure that we've got some nice width in this session. So in terms of the lead vocal, to add width, At the moment, what we've got is the main vocal and the double, and they're right up the middle. They're right in the center, which is where you normally have your lead vocal, right in the center. But what we can do to widen things out and add so much more space to the lead vocal sound is we can do another double. So we do another double, and again, don't copy and paste anything. That's not what this is. This is a separate take, right? So now you'll have a total of 3 takes, three different performances of this same vocal, all right? So that's down here, special sauce here. So special sauce L and R. Guess what that might mean? It means we pan this one all the way to the left, and we pan this one all the way to the right, right? So now we've got one on the left, one in the center, one on the right. Let's listen to that in the mix.
Yeah, give me love. Diamonds, white gold, a fortune, the material things. We got that freedom feeling, liberty in the world right now. Talking to oysters, get your palm trees out. It's raining down in London. We're stealing money from LA.
I mean, it's just so much more smooth, and I want to say like silky. It feels so much more silky to me. I suppose that's a very descriptive word, but it just feels thicker, more polished, closer to that sound I wanted for this type of funky track. So it's a great technique for you to try out. So essentially what you've got is your main vocal, then you've got a double on the left, double on the right. And you can go crazy with this, you know. I've never done it, but I've seen other people do. You know, you have a double you have your main vocal up in the center, then you have a double up in the center, and then you might have as many as 2 doubles on the left, 2 doubles on the right. Say for something, if you have a really thick chorus with loads of instrumentation, you can hit up loads of doubles all over the place. So this is, you know, mixing is so subjective, and you can try out whatever you want, but this is kind of where you start. This is a great technique to add that silkiness, that thickness and width to your lead vocal. Let's move on a bit to that pre-chorus that's awesome, and listen to that with all the special sources going on.
Go blame it on the boogie. All that fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold.
See, again, this is where you notice it, where the BVs drop out. That's where you notice it, because you need to still keep that lead vocal thick and up front, even though the backing vocals aren't backing it up anymore. All right, so you hear that here. It goes, blame it on the boogie, all that fame and fortune. You love my singing voice. It's early in the morning, guys. All that fame and fortune here, that's where the BVs have dropped out, even the vocoders have dropped out, and you're just left with the lead, and it's got to sound just as thick. You don't want to be like, it doesn't sound the same without the backing vocals. So listen to that again.
Blame it on the boogie, all that fame and fortune.
All right, one more time.
Go blame it on the boogie, all that fame and fortune.
I'm going to do it again. I'll take the special sauces out. What should they be? Mustard and salsa? I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to make jokes. It's too early.
Go blame it on the boogie, all that fame and fortune.
You hear that? It's kind of like, oh, where did that go? It's sort of, there's all this amazing texture with the BVs and the vocoder, and then it just drops out back to the boring lead vocal on its own, and you don't want that. So you add the special sauce. Listen again.
Go blame it on the boogie, all that fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold. You can blame it on the boogie, that fame and fortune ain't nothing but silver and gold. Freedom when there's nothing but a shoulder cutter. There's another story to recall and on another. Give it up and the power to control it further.
All right, it's a really fun song, guys. Go check it out on Spotify, iTunes, wherever. It is good fun. One last little thing I'll just throw in right at the end, because I've just remembered. Both these doubles, I have you can see there's loads of sends, but on the actual tracks here, I've got distortion going on. So that's something to try out. We'll talk about parallel processing on a future video, but if you've already heard of parallel processing, that's kind of what I'm doing on these doubles. I'm doing a bit of parallel processing. I've got a bit of distortion added in there to give some of that sort of saturation, but it helps to bring things up front. It helps to add that aggression. So try that out just as a last little thing to throw in there for you guys. Actually, second to last, that was the penultimate thing. The very last thing I want to tell you about is my free ebook. It's 25 pages long. I don't know why I led with that. It's all about the equipment you're going to need to get started recording and mixing on an affordable budget, guys, because we don't want to break the bank. The point of me talking to you guys is to teach you how to become a great audio engineer, and a great audio engineer can make magic happen with whatever equipment they've got. All right, it doesn't take tens of thousands of dollars to buy all this high-end equipment to get a great mix. A good engineer or a great engineer can make magic happen with whatever they've got. All right, so I've got some great recommendations in my free ebook. If there's a link just below this video, just click on it. It'll ask you to give me your email address. That's purely so I can send it to you. Otherwise, there's no way of you getting it. So I'll send you the ebook. And enjoy it, guys. It's got all that equipment. There's also tips and tricks in there, of course, because I have to throw things in there because I want to teach you stuff. And then even on the back page, there's like a little chart that's going to help you keep track of your spending and the things that you've bought and that sort of thing. It's got examples of some of the equipment that I've used. And I mean, the equipment in this book is stuff that I have, all of it I've used myself. Some of it I even still use to this day, and you can even see examples in there of the equipment I started out on. So yeah, check it out. It's absolutely free, a free gift from me to you, and yeah, link is below in the description. I'm rambling. How long is this video now? I don't even know. But I hope you enjoyed that technique. I hope you try that out. It's just one for those people who've tried out the typical thing everybody talks about, like, oh, well, you just need to use a compressor and some EQ and it's done. Well, not always true, my friend. Not always true. There are plenty of extra techniques and special sauces out there. Special, what did I say? Mustard and salsa. I've just moved to America, and salsa is a word that I really struggle with because in England we say salsa. Here in America they say salsa, and so when someone here asks me, would you like salsa with that, I'm then not sure whether I say yes, I would like salsa with that, or do I say yes, I'd like salsa, but then I kind of sound like I'm correcting them, which is odd. So anyway, it's a dilemma. So if you want to talk to me about your mixing, you can. If you want to leave me some advice on my move to America, you can do that too. If you try out this technique and you have an awesome mix that you've done, or one of your own songs that you've recorded, feel free to drop a SoundCloud link or something in the comment section below so I can listen to what you're doing. You might even get like a free mix review or mix, what do they call it? A mix critique. I'll give you a free mix critique if you're lucky. So, feel free to drop your links and let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of the technique, and especially let me know what you thought of my explanation of the technique. I always want to make sure that I can have everyone understanding what I am talking about, because it's one of those things, all of us audio engineers kind of know a ton of stuff. It's just, I'm still on a learning curve, learning how to teach you guys in a well-formatted way so that you can understand it, so I can make it seem quite simple. So there you go. Leave whatever. That's a long list of stuff to put in the comment section, but whatever you want to leave, do it, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to these videos. Make sure you do that. I know YouTube and Facebook, they're both very difficult these days with the algorithms. So make sure on YouTube, I believe make sure you subscribe and click the little bell so you always get notified that I've got a new video for you. Generally, they come out every single Monday. And on Facebook, I don't even know. Just make sure you like the video, share it with anyone you know, and like the Audio Tutor page as well. Anyway, for now, guys, my name's Tim from Audio Tutor. Ciao.